Hi everyone and welcome back to Opinion Loading. I'm here with my co-host Amanda Alexander. Hi. And today we have a fresh new topic for you. But before we welcome back to our channel, Opinion Loading. I'm here with my lovely co-host Amanda, and we are going to do a reaction video to one of the videos that was presented by the Real Talk Show. But before we get into it, like, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell so that you won't miss another episode. So, without further ado, we'll just go straight into the video.
Do you believe that in a relationship there is always one person that is more in love than the other? Oh, y'all don't like the people on the corner because that's exactly what they said. Okay, well, there was like an overwhelming amount of people that said yes, just like our audience did. So I'm curious, ladies, do you believe that in a relationship there is always one person that is more in love than the other? And obviously for us that are in relationships up here, that, like, I had to think about this. Like, if you had to say who's more in love with the other, that gets awkward, no?
Doesn't it kind of change, like, different times, you know?
Yes.
It's like a seesaw, like, whatever space I'm in right now, I might be more enamored with more against you, right? But, you know, that might change where I'm in a different space and you're like, oh, man, yeah. But I consistently have dated narcissists who are only in love with themselves.
No way. Seriously,
So,
what trait do you
we
think
could pause it.
attracts
So
you?
what do you think, Amanda? Do you think being the only one here that's in a relationship, do you think that that one person could be more in love with or not with the other? Do you agree with what Amanda would have said?
Yeah, yes, I do believe that at some point in the relationship or even throughout the relationship, one person will love the other person more, and it could go vice versa in terms of, like, at some point in time, I might love my partner more than he loves me, and another time he might love me more, you know. So it varies. I think it has a lot to do with
Because I was not going to ask what you think causes the difference in the love at whatever point in time, like the seesaw effect. And do you think that at the same time the two of you all can love each other the same? Is there ever balance?
I don't think that it would ever have a balance. Why? Because, and this will answer the initial question, because what really causes it, for me, I think it's like, it has a lot to do with maybe like the situation, you know, just natural human beings. We don't always feel the same way whole day every day.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just natural to feel differently within your relationship, and especially with love. Now, when we say I love you more, it doesn't mean that there are points in time where that love means you don't love them, if you understand. It just means that the other person loves you more, right? And I had a point just now.
You take your time.
That it just left me.
Alright, so we'll go back into the video.
Absolutely. You're an empath, aren't you? Yes, that's what they say.
What y'all talk about?
I just love money.
So there was a therapist who said that if you want to study turtles, you go to the Galapagos Islands. If you want to study narcissists, you go to Los Angeles.
Well, they say and they actually say that in order to do anything in entertainment, most of the time there is a bit of narcissism.
But what were you saying about empath? Because I was curious.
Well, for me, like empaths, I feel like we're mood sticks and we can like sense other people's Yes.
But
I don't think your sign has anything to do with whether you whether you are whether you have an impact or not. It has nothing to do.
Well, you know, and how some persons believe in
Yeah, no, but I have nothing to
horoscopes
do
and
with
all
it.
that kind of things.
It's kind of sometimes learned behavior, like what you see, what you grew up seeing too. So you can learn to be an empath. Similarly, you can learn to be narcissistic. You could be
Okay.
taught to be that way.
I can understand the thought part. The learned part, I don't know.
About learning to be. So if you grew up in a house where you see your mother always being that type of person, giving all the time and caring for people more than she even cares for herself, that's what you see. So it's a learned behavior, because that's all you would know. And it's not that she may teach you that that's how you're supposed to be.
No, I understand what you mean, you know, like
Yeah.
in terms of how someone could learn it. I don't know if I agree with it. That's
Okay.
what
I feel like the idea of loving in a relationship, you know, I wouldn't want to be with somebody who because whenever I've heard that phrase, it always made me think of this idea that they're just doting on me, you know, and I'm just like, yay, and I don't want that. I want to be able to love them back. So when people said that in such a resounding, that's one of those times where I wish we could go in the audience and ask, because I'm curious.
Well, I wonder too, how many of y'all, if you women clapped about having being in a relationship where somebody loves you more, at least you can quantify it, how many of your moms actually told you that you need to fall in love with somebody who loves you more than you love them?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say
And that is something
women
that
have
is-
been told that. Yes.
That's something that is told, and the reason why they say that is because it's natural for a woman to love, right? Because that's how we were created. So if you find somebody who loves you more than you love them, you would find yourself, you could reach to that point where you love them.
Okay.
But if you find somebody that you love more than they love you, sometimes it could end up being problematic. That's the school of thought out there. I am not confirming or denying the school of thought, but that's the school of thought. It does, to an extent, make some measure of sense, because, and I'm not talking about toxic women here. I'm talking about the normal run-of-the-mill woman, right? That's how we were created. We were created as nurturers, and so because we were created as nurturers, if you find somebody that loves you more, it's easier for you to reach up to that level where you could love them on that same playing field.
Okay. And I just remember the point I was going to make earlier.
Sure, go ahead.
Right. In terms of what would make you feel loved. Okay, so for example, if somebody isn't making you feel loved, then that could also play a factor in how much you love them. If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand, but okay, so like for somebody who's an empath, right? They will have difficulties accepting the fact that you are not showing them the love, so they will want to give more. They will end up being like, what did I do that was wrong?
Okay.
And trying to make up for that. So it doesn't work. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't work for every personality type. Because definitely for the empath, if there is not a reciprocation of,
I think so.
of emotions, they tend to want to figure out why, and so they will be given more
Okay.
of themselves in the trying to figure out what went wrong or why
Okay.
you're not
Because
sure.
I was thinking along the lines of, you know, what is your love language and all these things. So like, by you feeling loved, you feeling that yes, this person loves me, it will make you feel even more comfortable and be more open and vulnerable to love the other person.
Alright.
Yeah, that.
I get you. I get you.
In your culture?
Yeah, in my culture, it's very much told that the man, you should link up with somebody who you know you can walk away from so that they don't have a clutch on your heart. And a lot of people have believed that that's actually what's going to make them stay. Yes. That will make a man, I've heard the same thing, and that will make a man want you more because you don't want them as much.
Chasing?
Yes, correct. And they say men are predators, so they're the predators in relationships. Like they like to chase.
Right.
Yeah. And if there is a woman that is always like, I love you, but I love me more, that is considered to be very attractive to certain men. Yes. But the problem is when it comes to the availability that love can have, if you actually can sit there and quantify how much love that person is giving and hold yourself back, you're never going to experience that abundance. Exactly. Right?
I agree with that.
There's this book called The Rules that a lot of girls follow.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was actually going to ask you, Jeannie, this because you and I, even you, Adrian, we talked about different love languages.
Yes.
And sometimes just because you love differently, people can perceive that one person loves the person a bit more.
How do you quantify?
Yes.
And that's the
I
thing.
love
You
more than
can't.
love me. Like how?
I don't. That's it. That's the thing. I don't think that you could quantify love in that regard.
No.
You can't say, because at any given point in time, I might think that I'm doing something that shows you that I love you,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't receive it that way.
Correct.
So, but that doesn't mean that I love you less.
Right.
So that's the issue with the I love you more than you love me scenario in a relationship. Might appear that way, but it doesn't necessarily have to be
Mm-hmm.
that that I would love you more, you love me more at a given point in time. We all have our highs and lows, I think, in relationships, and I mean it is a natural expectation that if I am at my lowest
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship, that you would naturally do things to bring me back up to
Yeah.
my highest
Agreed.
point. And that's just love. It's not that you love me more in that point in time. I so
How can you decide for me to walk away? If most people think that if you are more susceptible to walk away, you don't love them as much as the other person who will be desperate to keep you no matter what, maybe even take infidelity. If they love you that much. That's usually
That's
the way
just
it goes.
love.
But I agree with that.
Absolutely not. Yeah, of course not.
I also think all relationships are different. That's why I tell people, be careful. Know who you're in a relationship with because see, the problem is everybody thinks that relationships are just standard, and it's not. Every relationship is different. Every person that you meet is different. That's the reason why when you meet somebody, really get to know who he is. So you can fall in love with him and you don't have to play these psychological games.
And when you just said about what your therapist said, bringing you back full circle about if you want to go look for a narcissist, you go to LA. If you're that type of person in a relationship where you actually want that person to love you more, you just might be that narcissist. Because there's only narcissists that want that type of relationship. Like
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that, because sometimes trauma could cause that.
Yeah.
Trauma from past relationships could cause you to reach to that point where, you know, I am not going to 100% give my all to the relationship. I want you to show me that you love me,
Mm-hmm.
because I've done it in the past and it didn't work out. It didn't work out in my best interest when I give 100% of myself to a relationship. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that they are narcissists, but it could just be that from past hits, this is who they have become.
Yeah, and that is the thing with relationships though. It's like you are completely two different individuals. Yes, you may have some similarities, but you are two individuals coming together to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
So it is work, right? But yeah, you really have to try to get to know the person and one and stuff like that for you to say that you truly love this person, and like I can't remember which one of them was saying it, but I cannot say that I love you more because it really don't have any measuring stick
There's no measuring stick.
for love. Well, we're not talking about Jesus Christ here, okay? Just putting it out
But
there.
there's
Right?
no measuring. I don't believe that there's a measuring stick.
As we say measuring stick though, do you believe that we as human beings could love unconditionally?
No, you cannot. You can't. The mere fact that we want love to be reciprocated means that there is a condition.
Okay.
Because if we look at, we using Jesus Christ as the example, Jesus Christ loves us regardless of whether we love him back. And he would do whatever he needs to do to show us that love, regardless of how we entreat with him. But the mere fact, as human beings, we have an expectation that if I give you love, you should give it back. That's a condition in and of itself. So I don't think human beings can love unconditionally. There's always a condition.
I think so. But that's something to really think about though. Like, could we even reach that point of
When Jesus comes.
loving unconditionally?
Amanda, okay, so the mere fact that, okay, if your partner cheats or you end up in a abusive, toxic relationship, and you're going to dig out, right? Sometimes people plot from in advance, long in advance. All right, so my boyfriend, my husband cheat. I gone. I can't deal with that. That is a condition that you would take your love away.
To an extent, right? Because in okay, so in a case like that, let's just say, because okay, let me 1 point, because your partner cheats doesn't mean he is only wrong, right? Because you can never tell what was going on in the relationship that caused him to cheat, right? Well, I mean, it's not him, but he or she, right?
Right.
And in that instance, if there isn't really anything that you were doing wrong for your partner to cheat on you, and you decide that you really can't make it work, is that really, because you still love the person, but you just love yourself more to not accept that?
So I want to use Jesus again, right? Jesus Christ will, because we just cheat on Jesus every day, right? But whenever we sin, would be considered as we cheating on it with whatever idols we hold, right? And he still pursues us over and over and over and over again, right? Do you think as a human being we could do what Jesus does for us? No.
But I agree
No.
with you when you said that we cannot love unconditionally. No, what I'm saying
Right,
is,
so that, and
could we reach that point? Like,
no, and that's what I'm saying. The mere fact that we plan from in advance of bad things happening in our relationships to skedaddle, right? When times get hard, means that there is a condition. We have set a condition to skedaddle.
At the same time, though, it's only until you're really in, because it have some persons that before the relationship they're like, if that happened, if XYZ happened, I out. But then when it does happen,
But then there are some people who, before the
Really
relationship,
stick,
correct, really
I know
stick,
that-
really stick to their whole guns and say, I am not, like for me, no man on this planet could lash me, and I see. we will end up fighting. I might end up dying because, or I might end up winning, right? Because I was told I'm strong, right? So I might end up winning. But we both will be in a fist fight, and the day a man decides to raise his hand to hit me is the day I gone. I'm not staying for the rest of that. Because because I have never once seen my father raise his hand to hit my mom. It's not something that I am going to accept.
Okay.
So we all know what we will and will not accept. There are some things to a lesser extent. Spawning is to the lesser extent for some persons. So I don't know.
But then I'm saying only until you're in the situation, because we, okay, so just the other day we were speaking about standards or whatnot, right? Like we have a list of what we want, but eventually only until we're in the situation we say, I know I could do without this, that, and whatever and stuff like that. You know, so only until you're in the situation can you really say what you're going to do. Yes, you will have plans. Yes, you will think about all these things beforehand.
It's how you compare standards and knowing.
To love?
No, not to love, but knowing what you will not take in a relationship.
Because as I'm saying, like, okay, because I'm sure some of those women who are in abusive relationship, they probably used to tell themselves, hey, if any man put their hand on me, I out. But then only until they end the situation, it probably have other factors they start to think about. Maybe kids, maybe finances, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, only until you end the situation would you really know or decide
I could
what
be
you
how
will do.
broke. I could have how much children.
That is like saying
I could
I
whatever.
would never do something.
No, that's not like saying that. You know yourself to a certain extent, though.
I don't know.
And that is something I will not stick around for. I know myself. We will fight. We will fight. Somebody gonna come up with bruises and scrapes, and if it had to be me, I'm busting out. I am not staying or sticking around for that, because I value myself more than staying with a man for the sake of money, or staying with a man because we have children together. Like, no.
And you just said it. You value yourself more. So I was saying, so like, it doesn't mean that you're taking away your love from the person. You still love the person, but you just love yourself
that's
more
the thing,
in
though,
that situation.
Amanda, I'm not saying that you love the person less, you know, but it's still a condition. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Those things are still conditions that you would exit for based on. Because the question was if we could love each other unconditionally, yeah. And that is one condition under which I will not give my love. I cannot continue to give my love if you are being abusive to me. Yeah. So, got any more to the video? I don't think so.
No,
I
I
think that was
think
the end of
that's it. Yeah. So guys, you all tell us what were your thoughts on the video? Do you think that in relationships someone loves the other more? Is it ever a point where there's equal love? Do you all think that we could love unconditionally? So we have a lot of questions for you guys. So we are waiting for your answers. You know, we have the live chat all open.
Yep.
Just message and let's engage in the conversation some more, right guys? So remember, like, share, and subscribe. This is Opinion Loading. We're out. Bye.
Bye.